Good evening, I'm Deborah Knight. Welcome to 10's Late News. Tonight, the Tasmanian miners say thanks.
For their expertise and skill and how they got us through the last rock without blowing the kingdom come out of us. You're the gun, you know we're talking about.
The fundraising concert and who'll get the cash. The teacher on terror charges, the high-tech bombs, what the police fear, what the court did. Also tonight, Beasley's budget comeback.
This treasure is like a poker machine. You put in, you pull the arm, nothing.
Labor's plans for childcare, training and the internet. And the shock axing of Jason Ackermanis from the Brisbane Lions. Headline Sports tonight with Brian Phelan.
Yes, Deb, the fall from grace from the Brownlow medalist is fueling rumours he could leave the Lions.
We want him in the team. We are a better team in it, with him in it. But at the same time, we need some things adhered to.
The St George Illawarra Dragons are faced with yet another high-profile departure. And the great white shark, Greg Norman.
The history and the culture of this event is there, so all you got to do is go dust off whatever's been put on there, and it'll come back through.
On why he still calls the Australian Open home.
First tonight, the rescued Tasmanian miners make their public debut. 10 reporter Max Futcher is in Tasmania and joins us now. Max, it's the first time we've heard from the men, paying tribute to their lost friend and comrade Larry Knight and thanking the people who saved them. It's been a big few weeks and another emotional event for the people of Beaconsfield.
Yes, that's right, Deb. It's been less than 3 full days since the boys were pulled out from their ordeal. And tonight they went before their community to thank them for their support and their prayers. They read from prepared statements and at times it was quite happy, at other times it was fairly sad and they were almost overcome, but the whole time it was very emotional for them and for the crowd. Let's have a quick listen to some of what they had to say just a short time ago.
It's pretty emotional, you know, when you sort of think about, you know, the how much the people actually put in for us. But for all our mates who each day said goodbye to their families and loved ones, every shift to put their lives on the line for us and worked in dangerous, unstable conditions to bring us out, we owe our lives to them.
A friend in need is a friend indeed. To our friends, all their people here tonight, we will never forget you. Thank you.
And how they got us through the last rock without blowing the kingdom come out of us. You're the gun, you know we're talking about.
Now, notably, they tried to put a question to the boys about their experiences when they were a kilometre under the surface for so long, and notably Todd jumped straight in and made it clear that anyone who wants the details in this story is going to have a fairly hefty chequebook. Now, on another note, they are partying in Beaconsfield tonight, and reporter Gerda Yetzikowski is down among the crowd. Gerda.
Well, like most things that have happened here over the past few weeks, this concert is something the town of Beaconsfield has never seen before. The 1,000 tickets were given out over the past few days, but that's also left several hundred people disappointed that they can't get in and are forced to stand outside. Having spoken to a few of the lucky ones, though, I can tell you Shannon Knoll seems to be the most popular act in there tonight, and celebrations are likely to continue into the wee hours.
Thanks, Gerda. Now, once all the partying is over tonight, there is a serious side. There are 2 inquiries currently underway, and either one of those or both of them could affect the future of the mine or indeed the future of the town.
Until now, he's shunned the spotlight, but 2 days after being rescued, a sense of solidarity brought Brant Webb into town.
Hey Brant, it's good to see you. How are you feeling?
Good, thanks.
You've been resting up and none of those reports about you being unwell aren't right?
Stay out of his face.
Not unwell.
Stay out of his face. He's still stiff and sore and needed help walking to the hall where miners were meeting to discuss their future. Like Todd Russell, who'd arrived earlier, Brant got a warm welcome from workmates. All the men know their jobs are at stake.
They're willing to go back to work so long as the parts of the mine they work in are safe. I have no problem with it, yep. It's an unfortunate tragedy. It's mining, it happens. Yeah,
It's still unknown who'd decide which mine shafts are stable enough to work in. The miners want a third independent inquiry to scrutinise the mine and determine whether the company's financial position had an influence on safety. There's also been more tremors in the area.
There have been reports to us of seismic activity, and our members are saying that they want to find out what this is about before they will again go underground.
Brant and Todd left the meeting together. Brant's sports car a welcome change from the last confined space they shared. The Prime Minister's confirmed he has spoken with Todd, but declined to go into any details of the conversation. Instead, he praised the Beaconsfield community.
It was just a wonderful demonstration of what an open-hearted, well-meaning, good people we Australians are, particularly at times of difficulty and adversity.
So there is a serious side, but for tonight the partying goes on and they are trying to raise money for the Beaconsfield community and also for the family of Lowry Knight. And so far I can tell you they've raised, through corporate sponsorship, almost $450,000. Deborah.
Wow, deep pockets. Thank you very much. Max Futcher reporting from Tasmania. To other news, and terror charges have now been laid against a school teacher said to have had enough explosives to flatten 5 suburban streets. Police claim he threatened to use high-tech bombs embedded with nails and razor blades. But his lawyer says it's all a misunderstanding.
Police say John Amundsen is not the dedicated school teacher he claims to be, but a potential terrorist.
The 40-year-old male person has been charged with 3 terrorist-related offences just recently.
It's claimed he was preparing to launch some sort of attack and he allegedly had the explosives to pull it off. When police raided his home in Brisbane on Tuesday, they found 53 kilograms of power gel, 4 bombs, some embedded with nails and razor blades, along with 10 detonators, enough explosive power to flatten 5 suburban streets. Amundsen spent most of today talking to local and federal authorities, and tonight became the first Queenslander to be charged under new anti-terrorism laws.
And the public can be rest assured that there is no threat from the explosives.
But the danger at one stage must have been very real. He's also been charged with making threats over the phone. And investigations will continue. Operation Echo Mine, a task force of 40 local and federal police, has been assembled. To fight the charges, Amundsen hired Andrew Bowe, a solicitor who famously represented serial killer Ivan Milat.
Mr Amundsen is not a terrorist. He's not associated with any terrorist organisations.
Amundsen will face court in Brisbane tomorrow morning, but detectives say more charges will most definitely be laid against the alleged terrorist within the coming days. Chloe Baker, 10 News.
An explosion in brain tumour numbers has forced an evacuation at a city building. The problem has been going on for years, authorities acting only now.
It's just one building in Melbourne CBD, but one that's home to an alarming statistic. Over the last 7 years, 7 RMIT University staff members working on the top 2 floors have been diagnosed with brain tumours. Their union's concerned there could be a link to mobile phone towers on the building's roof.
That sounds an extraordinarily unusual set of circumstances, and we've asked the university to do a thorough investigation.
RMIT's agreed and says the situation is disturbing. It's evacuated the top 2 floors as the investigation begins.
We're very concerned and conscious of the need for the health and safety of our staff.
RMIT had tests performed at the building in 2001 after the first 2 cases were reported. The results suggested staff and students there were safe. But since then, another 5 staff members have suffered brain tumours.
The further 5 cases have only become apparent in the last month.
Around 500 university staff work in the high-rise. They're obviously concerned by the news, amid claims a further 2 employees have died from other forms of tumours.
There hasn't been any systematic investigation of what other health issues there may be that may be related or unrelated to whatever it is that's caused these tumours in the first place.
Christopher Still, 10 News.
Shock jock Stan Zemanek is making a good recovery after a serious health scare. The radio broadcaster and former host of the Beauty and the Beast TV talk show is resting at home 2 days after having the tumour removed. He says he's feeling fine and will be well enough to be on the airwaves in a few weeks. Kim Beazley has slammed the federal budget as a lost opportunity and promised a bigger focus on skills and childcare. But the government has branded the opposition leader's formal budget reply a collection of glib one-liners.
As he strode towards the parliamentary chamber, Kim Beazley must have felt the pressure to perform. A big ask to match a government's multi-billion-dollar tax giveaway budget with nothing but promises and ideas.
This budget fails Middle Australia and mortgages our kids' future.
She said Peter Costello's $36 billion tax cuts gave many middle-income earners only $10 a week.
$10 already gone. Gone on the triple whammy. Wages threatened. Rising interest rates, soaring petrol prices, fair dinkum.
On the positive side, Mr Beazley's focus was, as previewed, on efforts to address the shortage of skilled workers and on childcare. Among the promises, $200 million for childcare centres at primary schools, abolition of TAFE fees for trades apprentices and childcare trainees, abolition of foreign apprenticeship visas, and a commitment to a faster broadband network. Under pressure in the opinion polls and from party critics, this was a big test for Kim Beazley. In the end, he decided to narrowcast his message, concentrating on skills and childcare and trying to wipe the smile off the government faces, partly through references to industrial relations.
No tax cut can make up for you being unfairly dismissed.
There was also a personal dig at the Prime Minister for heading overseas so soon after the budget.
Remember his annual family holidays at Hawke's Nest? Not anymore. Now it's Washington, Ottawa, Dublin.
His failure was that he did not outline a disciplined, coherent plan to keep the economy strong.
Mr Beazley has no discipline, and you can't make up for a lack of discipline with glib lines and platitudes.
Labor's troops giving a thumbs up, publicly at least. Greg Turnbull, 10 News.
A warning tonight about a popular Mother's Day gift. Consumer watchdogs are cracking down on jewellery sales, saying some are too good to be true.
The Mother's Day sales might look like great deals, but are they the real deal?
Mum will never see it coming.
The Australian Competition and Consumer Commission and State Fair Trading Departments are scrutinising jewellery store catalogues across the nation, contacting those with suspiciously high discounts.
We're concerned when items are promoted as being on sale and they've never actually been sold at the before price. That's false and misleading advertising.
The bargain basement prices not impressing reputable jewellers.
If it does seem to be too good to be true, it probably is.
The ACCC has some chain stores in its sites, and the New South Wales government has asked 7 jewellery companies to prove their discounts are genuine.
If they can't, we can proceed to prosecution for false and misleading advertisements.
The consumer watchdog's refusing to divulge who the dodgy jewellers are, making it even harder for consumers to avoid a costly scam. Experts say shoppers seeking a priceless gift for mum should stick to well-known and trusted jewellers.
Where diamonds are concerned, they do last forever. So really saving up for that extra period of time and getting yourself a higher quality one or the right quality one is definitely the way to go.
James Boyce, 10 News.
A training flight has turned to disaster for the crew riding a military helicopter. The craft came down into the sea near the Russian island of Sakhalin. 3 of the 13 crew were injured and 1 died later in hospital. Russia and Japan were taking part in a joint military exercise when the accident happened. The Australian businessman who made millions playing video games.
And the game has all kinds of fake advertising in it. So I thought, wow, what if we